What's up, everybody? How's your day going? Wanted to do a short little video here. Of course, I'm driving. I am always driving, and if I'm not driving, I'm walking, like exercise walk. And so I need to get a stand thing for my car, whatever it's called, so I can do these videos. Driving's just such a great time to do these things, because when I'm not driving, I'm working on something else. So anyway, I've been thinking a lot lately about revival. What is revival? It's a buzzword. Everybody kind of has their own little definition of it. And secondly, important to that question, what is it? And then the second question is, how do we get it? So first question, what is revival? Well, revival means something is dead and it gets awakened. It's a great passage in Ephesians, says, awake, you sleeper, so that Christ may shine on you, right? So revival is not God isn't here and we need to get him to show up. That's not revival. Revival is not a conference. Revival is not a meeting. Revival is not something you schedule. I would define revival as waking up to who we already are and to the Lord already being in the room and us doing what we've already had the ability to do. I think that's revival. I think revival is not so much adding something as much as awakening something that's already there. We get this idea that God left the room, right? And he left America and he left a state or whatever. We hear it, right? God, was taken out of the school system, different things like that. And I get the point. I get it. And there's a lot of truth to a lot of that stuff. But the reality is God's still here. He hasn't left. Whatever political party and whatever government can try shutting God out, but he's still there. He may not be welcome, but he's there. And awakening and revival is just this really simple thing of just getting people awakened to who they are, what God's doing. And the other important part that I think we have to really understand and describe with this is revival is not extended meetings. I'm not opposed to extended meetings. But, I've had a lot of times in both my traveling itinerant life and also here at Love Revival and at the church I pastored in Roanoke, where we've went through seasons where God has done very miraculous, specific things on a heightened level. God's always doing the miraculous and, anything that I'm doing because I believe in that and I go after that. But just because all of a sudden somebody gets out of a wheelchair doesn't mean you go to extended meetings or something like that. Personally, this is just me. Don't take this as your word. This is just me. I believe that I don't think God has ever called me to go to extended meetings like, oh, God showed up on Monday. We need to do Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next 6 months. Now, if the Lord speaks to me audibly or in a dream or an angel shows up and tells me to do that, then I'll do that. But my first reaction when God shows up is send people out, not gather more people in a building, right? And so that's a paradigm shift, I think, for a lot of people. It's like, God showed up. Let's call God TV. Let's, get it on CBN. Let's, live stream it. Let's call Bill Johnson. He needs to show up. And it's like in the book of Acts, the upper room happens and they take it to the street, right? So if we go to extended meetings every time God shows up, and I'm not saying there's never time for that, but every time God shows up, the charismatic world, we go to extended meetings, we make cool graphics for it, make an event page. And it's like every time God shows up, we're like, okay, God, now stay in your building, right? Let's gather, see what God's doing. I get the heart behind it, and it's a good heart behind it. But what if every time God shows up, our first reaction is to send people out? And I just think that's such a big difference in thought. If God shows up, we need to be thinking about how we're going to go door to door. If we are awakened to the reality that God's already there, we need to be thinking and training on what's next. How do we send people out instead of how do we keep people in? So anyway, I just want to encourage you. You can live revived. You can live sent, right? No, I don't mean this in any way as a undercut or anything, but it's a lot of these conferences stuff. It's like, go to this conference and you will, get this, and it's like, man, like, and people ask me, are you going to this conference, that conference? Dude, I've already been sent, like I'm going, I'm gone, I'm doing the deal, And so I just want to encourage you guys. Revival is not a conference. It's not a meeting. I'm not against any of that. I think there's a lot of good stuff to say about a lot of what God is doing with gathering believers and strategizing and things like that. But let's just understand, you can live in revival. Revival is not a meeting you have to go to. So anyway, there's my 2 cents. I'll do a part 2 here soon. I didn't really get to the second half. How do we get revival? I'll talk about that later. I got a lot to say about that probably. So anyway, I love you guys. I hope you're having a great day. Adios.